Welcome to Red Zone DFS Week 3 NFL. Who's ready to go?
I'm fired up.
We're ready.
I'm fired up. I'm ready to not get absolutely screwed, by like a showdown slate or some weird shit happening at the end of the game with a loser team like the Browns and the Steelers. So I'm ready for a full slate. What about you, Vinnie?
Yeah, I was close last week on a GPP. I showed you guys in a big field tournament. I had Tua with Tyreek, with Waddle, with Andrews, with the Jags D heading into the afternoon games, and Connor and Brandon Cooks absolutely let me down. So very, very heartbreaking. Still had a productive Sunday, but hopefully we can push the ball over the line this week.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, honestly, like all the picks we've been making, I'm still on those picks this week, and I've never felt more confident about them. Like it's time for the ship to come home and to
I like the positivity, my man.
No, I'm fired up. I keep looking at this DraftKings. I keep looking at lineups, and I'm like, I haven't felt this confident since Week 17 last year. So, I'm ready to go.
Well, all right, lead us off. Let's go. You're fired up.
Quarterback,
baby. Let's do this.
Who do you like?
I mean, at the top, it's Josh Allen. I think Miami is a little flash in the pan. I'm not saying they're not good. I'm not saying they're not a great fantasy area here. They give up 38 points to Baltimore last week, which Lamar's killing it. But the reality is Baltimore's offense is really not that great. You got Devin Duvernay doing most of their work. So Josh Allen with that Buffalo offense that they're looking like absolute juggernauts at this point of the season with a solid defense. Josh Allen is going to be in a lot of my lineups. I think he goes for 4 touchdowns plus again. I just don't see anyone stopping this man.
I can argue with what you got.
Very hard to disagree. Also with the fact that we'll get to this a little bit later, down in the 6,000s, but Buffalo is starting, a couple guys that were, working at Costco at DB. They are absolutely decimated in the defensive backfield, and that is the absolute strength of the Miami team. So I think this game is going to be a pretty big shootout. I think that a lot of people will shy away from stacking this game up because of the big performance of both teams last week. Buffalo is in prime time. Miami, was a very notable game just because of how it went. So I think that people might shy away a little bit from just going full on and stacking that game. And I can't wait to do it.
Yeah, and a lot of people are looking at how Baltimore have brought back, Marcus Peters and Marlon Humphreys last week on their first game back from injury. They're out of shape. They were subbing them in and out. Yep. They were gassed, right? Tyreek and Waddle just running all over them. By the end of the game, they had more stamina left.
Yep.
So people are that is out there. Like every podcast I listen to, everyone's talking about that. So people are now going, well, maybe Miami got lucky in the right situation.
No,
I think Mike McDaniel's got it going on, man.
Well, I think you have that, but then we always talk about it, there is no blueprint for that kind of speed. And if Tua can just be accurate, he even missed some touchdowns last week. Dude, Waddle and Tyreek are just so freaking dynamic together that it's I don't know how you stop it. And you have to take Micah Hyde, like Jim pointed out of the lineup, who is one of the best safeties in the game. That's a horrible recipe for Buffalo going into this game. So I don't think it's chasing to continue game stacking this,
100%.
Yeah, just don't overthink it, right? We'll tend to overthink these situations. Maybe this will happen. Maybe this was a fluke. The reality is I think Miami's offense is the real deal right now. I've been saying this for a while. It's not like Tua is this great player, but I think he's always been a very accurate quarterback that can get his team to the next level. You give him speed where he doesn't have to throw downfield. He gets to throw these buck routes, these slant routes, quick smoke routes. Tyreek and Waddle are going to do everything for him. I mean, Gesicki's not even getting targets. That's how open these guys are getting.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I mean, to piggyback on your statement of not, overthinking it, I like the Josh Allen play, but I'm going to Mahomes at 7,900.
Yep.
They're playing a Colts team that's just flat out bad. I'm sorry. There's no more excuses anymore. They're just not very good. They're a bad team right now. And I think that Mahomes, he's just an easy stack. If you want to get risky, I think you can plug in either MVS or Juju, who both haven't done anything, along with Kelsey, or if you just want to play Kelsey, I think that's more than fine. I don't think you have to run anything back on the other side if you don't want to in this one, but to not play Mahomes, and it looks like a lot of people are not going to play Mahomes. I'm seeing him at anywhere from 4 to 7%.
I couldn't believe the ownership.
I'm totally okay with playing Mahomes by himself.
Yeah,
right? This
100%.
team is very undependable of who's going to get the ball. You know, this game I actually think is going to run up a little bit. I think the Colts are going to score a little points. I mean, the spreads only have 5.5, and like 80% of the public is on the Chiefs. That means the Colts are probably going to keep this close in some way. The Colts offense has been putting up a ton of yards. They just can't score a damn touchdown if their life depended on it. Vegas obviously thinks that they're going to put a few in the end zone, which means Mahomes has 5-6 touchdown potential in this game. You just don't know who the hell it's going to go to. So
yeah,
I'm okay going Mahomes solo.
Yeah, Mahomes solo, but I mean, we know it's going to go.
Kelsey is the man. Yeah, no.
To Kelsey.
Yeah.
But the problem is he's expensive, and there's a lot of other expensive guys this week, right? But I mean, you really have to just look at Kelsey as the Chiefs' number one wide receiver. I know that people keep pounding the drum for Juju and all that stuff. And at some point, Juju's going to have a big spike week. MVS is going to have a big spike week. Hardman's going to have a big spike week, right? If you can hit on one of those guys, and if you just play Mahomes every single week with one of those guys, you're not really throwing money away, especially because his ancillary and tertiary pieces are not very expensive, right? So,
and if you're doing like
my option,
and if you're doing like a 20 max entry, throw together 6 different Mahomes lineups with a different person paired with them in every single one, right?
Absolutely.
Like, and one of those is going to go.
Yep.
Yeah. And I think another way you can do it too, which I do agree with that, Joe, for sure. I'm also just going to have in my non-Mahomes lineups, like Chiefs guys splattered all over the place. Like I'm going to have some MVS here. I'm going to have some Hardman over here because like instead of having to get all 3 pieces right of like a Mahomes stack, like sure, at that price point, it's not going to kill you if they don't go off, right? Yeah. But if Hardman does with Josh Allen or whoever else, like now you're in serious business. You know, your whole stack isn't killed if they don't, but if it hits, you know?
Yep.
So
absolutely.
I'm with you on that. Vinny, who are you liking from the top?
Yeah, I mean, similar to Mahomes, I think you have to look at Jalen Hurts. Like he's just in kind of an insane level right now.
And he's
still underpriced, man.
And he's a guy, just like we were talking with Mahomes, you can choose. I don't think you full game stack it here with like 2 guys. They've got a lot of bringbacks, but I think Hurts is totally fine to play alone, or you just kind of hope and pray with one guy. I think one guy that's really sneaky this week is AJ Brown, who's looking to be sub 10% after Monday night's game. Everyone's kind of like, oh, AJ Brown, didn't really deliver, which is the case for me. And he's sandwiched between Sun God and Tyreek and Diggs. Like, he's going to get no ownership here.
Yeah.
And he's got major upside.
Defense is really bad. And
we'll get to that when we
still got
this
stench of Ron Rivera, Chase Young, Allen. Look at this stud.
Del Rio, your boy, Joe.
Yeah, the only winning season in Raiders history. 2 years in a row. Fucking Washington's defense has underperformed at really mediocre level.
They are giving up, I think I read, this may not be correct, so don't quote me, over 7 yards a carry right now. So
good God.
I think there's a path where this makes me a little bit nervous because Hurts doesn't have a clear-cut stacking option here because you have Devonta Smith, you've got Goddard, you've got AJ Brown, but you could play Hurts solo and feel totally fine about this play.
So I actually have an unorthodox stack with Hurts.
You going Sanders?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And it's not because of the passing volume so much, but it's because that, Hurts running the ball has been effective recently. At some point, they're going to say, okay, well, we have to take away that because he's a more dynamic athlete than Miles Sanders. We'll just let him go for it, right? So I think that that's something that basically no one is going to do.
Yeah.
And I think you're going to be completely fine with that. Miles Sanders is so cheap still. And he's dominating the workload in that offense. Gainwell's doing nothing. Yeah, Boston Scott gets, a little Salt Bay sprinkled in here or there.
We'll talk about when we get to range, but he's tied right now for my highest on running back on the slate this week.
Yeah, I love him. And you can see why, right? So I like that as an unorthodox stack.
That's interesting. Yeah, I love it.
For the top end. Going below
it's smart because Philly, what's his name? Sriracha, whatever his name is. So he's actually giving the ball to Miles Sanders, especially on the goal line.
Yeah.
I mean, he was in love with Jordan Howard last year.
For Miles Sanders.
Which is weird. Jordan Howard's not even in the league anymore. And Sirianni was obsessed with giving Jordan Howard the ball in the goal line over Miles Sanders every play last year. Sirianni is finally giving Miles Sanders the ball. I'm not saying Miles Sanders isn't a Saquon Barkley, but he's definitely on Antonio Gibson's level of talent, and he can get you some good weeks if you give him the ball.
Yes.
Yep. All right.
So dropping down into the sixes, Vin, who do you like from 6,000 to 6,700?
I'm going back to him, man. This whole stack is going to be under-owned. They burned the shit out of me last week. I'm going right back to Burrow. I think if they don't lose this, or if they lose this game, their season may be washed. They're in a tough division. They're going to be up against it big time. Burrow's if they can just mitigate the pass rush, they're fine. And they're playing the Jets, who's by far the worst defense of their 2 games so far they played. I'm all in, dude.
So look, Burrow's still averaging over 3x in fantasy points, no matter how bad they've looked.
So so couple that with the fact, you know who is leading the league in touches right now? Mixon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Makes sense.
That hasn't worked for the first 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay. They are going to come in. They are going to let him throw it around. You're going to see. I think this is a massive Burrow and Chase spike week because you're going to start to see the Chase usage, just like the Debo usage. They're going to get him the ball. They're going to get the ball out of Burrow's hands quickly. They're going to get him the ball around the line of scrimmage. So he could have one of those games where he has 14 catches.
He's still getting double-digit targets each week, Chase. It just hasn't worked. The other thing to your point, Jim, I love about it, he is sandwiched between Justin Jefferson, who is right now getting 23% projected ownership, and Stephon Diggs at 20%.
100%.
Chase is right now at 6%. This guy has as much upside as anybody in the league. So
today I went back and took a look. What they were clearly trying to do early to mitigate the pass rush was they were trying to run the ball and then take play action shots or pick their spots to take shots deep, and it just hasn't worked.
Well, they're saying he's facing way more too high safeties, and teams are just saying, you're not beating us over the top, which
and that's fine. And last year, how they did most of their damage was not over the top. It was that's one of the biggest the Burrow criticizers out there. One of their biggest criticisms is that he hit some big shots over the top every now and then, but it's Higgins and Chase underneath, and then with the run after the catch. Great.
Totally.
They're going to go back to that comfort blanket this week, and I'm right there with you, Vinny. I don't have another quarterback to add in the sixes. Burrow is my absolute smash in that area this week.
I love him. Obviously I like Mixon. There's no week I don't like Mixon, but when I'm double stacking this week, we always talk about that interesting stack with Burrow, Mixon, Chase, or Higgins.
Yep.
I'm just going Chase and Higgins. Let's light it up and go downtown. I think this could be a 400-yard day for Burrow.
You have good run back options too. You have Garrett Wilson that's very cheap. You have Michael Carter who's still dominating the pass down snaps. Breece Hall. People are gonna gravitate.
Even
to Breece Hall.
Elijah Moore, who didn't have as big of a week last week, he's very much in play. And Flacco's in full YOLO mode. That guy doesn't care.
No,
he's just throwing it 50 times a game.
This is legitimately Flacco Flames' last game he's ever going to start.
100%.
This is it.
Yeah. He could throw it
75 times.
Yes. Who cares?
They might not run the ball, not once.
I love
Just
it. No,
send them off.
this is a really sneaky game in my opinion, and I'm going to lead the charge with Burrow for sure. And I just like it. I mean, he's half the ownership of Kirk Cousins, who we saw what he was capable of on Monday. As much as I love that game, I'm sure we'll talk about it. Like, I'll take Burrow at half the ownership and his weapons. You know,
big time.
Like,
Big
so,
time.
Joe, Jimmy said the 6 is your favorite. But
I hate the 6K range. I hate it. Like I'm gonna sprinkle some Wentz because I'm gonna have like 25 lineups going. So I'm definitely gonna have like 2 Wentz lineups just because they're gonna be behind. This game's gonna get weird and sloppy, and who the fuck knows how this is gonna finish. But the 6Ks is not very appealing to me.
I am too, just because I think Wentz is like too dumb to know when he's out of it. Like he'll just keep throwing. And
he doesn't care. You want to talk about a YOLO guy? That guy could throw 15 interceptions and he wouldn't give a flying fuck.
You know who Wentz is? He's like the old Jameis in Tampa.
No,
he's just like, all right, let's
roll
like,
now.
You know, which for fantasy is beautiful.
It's Winston. His name is Winston instead of Winston. Like he's fucking.
I love it.
Literally.
But again, for
repeat mode.
So how I'm kind of looking at this is like, I think there's only 3 guys in this range down here, and I don't like anyone below the 6s. And it's just simply that like I'm really I always talk about this, and I know it's not like you don't have to do it, but like there are multiple options on this slate that can go nuclear, and if they do, you're shit out of luck to take down a tournament, right? So like I think Burrow, Wentz we just talked about, just because he's like too dumb to not like keep going.
Well,
and then Tua are the only options I think that could like hold pace with like a massive shootout. Like I hear people talking. I mean, I don't know. Do you guys have anyone like the 5s you like?
So I love Marcus Mariota this week. Again, I'm very anti-Seattle. I mean, their 2 corners are Kobe Bryant and Michael Jackson. It's 2 dead guys.
Joey and I are in lockstep this week.
Mariota is going to have one of those games where, again, I mean, by the way, he went 0 for 2 on Hail Marys without attempting. He actually went 0 for 0 on 2 Hail Marys in last week's game. Not great, which is, I thought that was impossible. But Mariota is running pretty much like the quadruple option with his run-pass options in every play. And defenses are just like, we don't defend against this shit. This is scout team bullshit that we're facing. And Mariota is putting up points. He's scoring. Cordell Patterson's a great combo with him. Pitts isn't getting any targets. Maybe that changes this week.
Can we call a quick timeout real quick that I'm really sorry about the Cordell killing him last week.
You killed him.
Everyone. I ruined his career.
We can go back to him this week.
But I only
triple stamp, double stamp.
I only
go back to Cordell this week.
I only killed him because I need Pitts to get going.
Throw the salt over your shoulder.
I tried to.
Well, I think so. So, like to Joey's point, I love Mariota, and I love because it has not only because Seattle is just, I don't know, worse than the runs on a Monday, but I like the awkward and weird stacking options. So you can go. I love the Mariota Patterson Pitt stack. Okay, because no one's gonna play that
with the Falcons defense, because
I love the Falcons.
Pete Carroll came out this week saying we're gonna let Geno cook. That means Geno's gonna throw 4 picks plus.
And
I think Atlanta's on the offense a lot, dude.
I like Lockett as a run back with that too. He's my preferred guy to run that back with. I have more than a few of that particular stack. Drake London is looking very good. He's the one guy that, it's recency bias. He went off last week. Everyone's going to gravitate to him this week. Seattle watched the tape. They go, okay, we're not going to let this guy beat us, right? We got to pick somebody. Jamal Adams is fucking terrible. He's going to be the one responsible for picks.
He's out.
Is he even playing? Yeah,
he's out now. Okay, so
yeah, he tore his quad.
Well, it's probably a good thing because less play of him on tape is better because he's terrible.
Yeah, he's not good in coverage.
I digress. So I don't have anybody else down there. I'm all in with Joey on Mariota this week. Mariota going back a little narrative street action to the Pacific Northwest where he's torn it up before. But yeah, that's where I'm going.
Yeah, only again, I hear totally what you guys are saying, and I love it. I was on Mariota last week. You guys know that. I'm just fearful on this slate of going down because
I'm okay with it because of the running upside. He's got that running upside. None of these quarterbacks down here have that passing upside.
I hear you.
The stack is so cheap.
But even if he goes for 20, and let's say like London and Pitts go for 10, 15, 20 maybe, like that's great. But I think you have to play pieces of some of those other games in case it pops off.
Well, it allows you to,
right? I guess not. Like I guess you could totally fade and go in a different. Like you could go Bengals, you could go like Chase and those
not
guys.
Not even. It's
you can get Falcons with Chase with a top running back if you wanted to. Like that's the benefit.
So you're paying up at running back in that stack and going
in one of them, yeah. So like in one of my Mariota, Patterson, Lockett, Pitts, Falcons stacks, I've got McCaffrey in there, and then I've got Cooper Kupp in there.
I like it.
So, and I'm going cheap elsewhere, which is fine.
I like it. It's different, yeah.
And I mean, if you don't want to go up and go like real cheap, you could throw one of those pieces like a Tyreek Hill in there, or a St. Brown in there, or a Waddle in there, right? Like that's way doable.
And dude, are the Falcons bad? They lost by 1 point to the Saints, which are supposed to be a contender, and they lost by 4 points to the Rams.
Not good. They're not good, but they're competitive.
They're much improved from last year.
Yeah.
I think that people
and that's
need
what
to
I
give
mean,
them.
right? I'm not saying Mariota's good, but he's going to be in a position to, hey, let's let this thing fly, and let's try to win this ball game right now. He's done it 2 weeks in a row. And Seattle is not good.
Seattle's going to be a bottom 5 team in the year. Like that's the one thing I hope people realize is like that Russ game opening at home was their absolute Super Bowl. They will not look that good again all season. They may have the number 1 pick.
And Nathaniel Hackett going against. I mean, Nathaniel Hackett is
we're finding
already on the hot seat.
That pumpkin is
I don't know if he's cut out to be a
look, he is the Adam Gase syndrome, man. He got a great quarterback for a few years. They did well, and he got himself a head coaching job, and he doesn't know what to do with a above average quarterback.
No,
for sure. Well, that does it for quarterbacks for me.
All right. Well, before we move on to running backs, I'm sure you guys have heard we've done a few podcasts so far. We're now being supported by Manscaped, who's clearly the best in men's below the waist grooming. They've all sent us out care packages. We've tried the products. They're dynamite. Precision engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped Performance Package with the Ultimate Men's Hygiene Bundle. Join over 6 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you. It's 20% off and free shipping worldwide. I know we have some listeners that are outside of the United States. We appreciate you guys with Zone 20 at manscaped.com. If my math is correct and 6 million men have taken advantage of this, it's about 12 million balls that have been cleaned up and manicured properly with Manscaped. Joey, I know that you have gotten a chance to break into your Performance Package 4.0.
You're definitely the hairiest person on the podcast. So
I've had facial hair since 11 and pubic hair since 9. So I finally got a trimmer that works for me. It's been 22 years of using other trimmers, and finally this trimmer works for me. I'm more than satisfied. I got my travel pack I took on my vacation up here. It's got all my stuff in it, including my trimmer. I'm looking clean. I'm looking fresh. My wife loves it. I mean, there's no complaints on my end.
Joey's went to the Ritz-Carlton, Lake Tahoe, the highest of the high, and he made sure to bring the Lawnmower 4.0, the ball toner, the ball deodorant, to make sure that he was smelling right and looking right at the classy Ritz. So good job, Joe.
And this travel bag is just pure leather. I mean, it smells good. I mean, it's durable. You can't complain.
Smells of leather and rich mahogany.
Can't complain. Definitely. So, it's all great, guys. Obviously, we're super pumped. Get 20% off free shipping with the code ZONE20 at manscaped.com. So, again, 20% free shipping, manscaped.com, ZONE20.
Perfect.
All right, boys. On to running back.
We'll leave that up there for the rest of the pod. That way you guys know where to find it. find that discount at, and on to running backs. Joey, our resident Sasquatch.
Yeah.
What do you got?
The missing link. So, as the Raider fan here, this is going to mean a lot. This is the week that Derrick Henry just goes absolutely chaotic. He has played like shit.
Really?
This Tennessee team has played like shit. This Tennessee defense is not as bad as we think. Yes, so everyone's going, oh, look, no A.J. Brown, no room for Derrick Henry to run. Derrick Henry has started off slow every single season. If there's a team he's going to put up a highlight showcase on, is the resident highlight showcase team on ESPN and NFL Network, it's the Raiders. The Raiders are playing really bad football right now. They're being outpossessed by teams by over 6 minutes in each game. This is the game. If Tennessee wants to win, they're going to give the ball to Derrick Henry 35 times and try to let the Raiders stop him. This is Derrick Henry week. I mean, he's down to 8,100. I can see him just having one of those games where people go, oh, yeah, he's been the rushing champ like 3 years in a row. Got it.
So,
I have been pounding the table to fade Derrick Henry. And I think that Joey could be right. I mean, you don't have to go crazy with him this week. He's looking, 6 to 8% owned.
Yeah.
I think you can just, you could play 15% Derrick Henry and be double the field basically. And I mean, Joey's right. He is the one guy on this slate that has 40, 50 point upside. And there's not a lot of other guys. I think McCaffrey has that this week and maybe one other, but I think McCaffrey and Henry are the two guys this week that have that 40 point upside.
Yeah, they're my two favorites.
I mean, we always talk about leverage, right? Like in these tournaments, we just touched on it a little bit with stacks, but like Derrick Henry and the DVP is showing going against the 27th ranked, rushing defense in terms of like his matchup. If again at 7%, he could absolutely win you a GPP this week.
100%.
I mean, just plain and simple. Like he does it every year, a couple times a year. I think the Titans have to realize throw Monday out the window. Like that was just an absolute buzzsaw that they ran into. And that was like, that thing was over 10 minutes into the game,
100%.
And the Raiders,
like we said earlier, Buffalo is a juggernaut. They're like Alabama in 2013, right?
Yes.
Just nobody is stopping them right now. As of now, like they're going to lose a couple times, but I can see Buffalo going 15-2 this year.
Yes.
The other thing to keep in mind, and Joey, you can attest to this as well. I don't know what the weather is going to be like in Tennessee this weekend. I'm guessing not that bad, but Derek Carr does not play well going to the east.
Going east, the Raiders traditionally play very poorly.
Well ever.
Okay. Well.
Take your bias out of it for this. I'm just talking about like him, East Coast.
I just hope they lose.
Never mind. Weather's going to be fine. 24% chance of rain, but 90 degrees. So they'll be fine. But I'm with you.
Derrick Henry is going off this week.
If you're a tournament player, that's not a bad call.
That's the only detractor for Derrick Henry. He might get too hot.
Good. But he's from the South. Like he's fine. He's in his element. I have no interest in Jonathan Taylor, by the way. None. I'm not paying $9,000 for a guy that's not going to be used.
Well, I mean,
I see otherwise.
He's going to get used, but again, you're playing against a very, very good coaching staff that has seen the extreme deficiency of Matt Ryan, and
so bad.
There's something to be said for zigging when.
Oh, we're gonna freeze that.
Zagging. I would rather do that with Derrick Henry than Jonathan Taylor this week.
Or McCaffrey.
Yeah, I'm not going to have. I would rather play McCaffrey for $200 less. I don't think I will have any Jonathan Taylor this week. I can't see myself getting to him. If I'm going to really pay up for a player, I'm going to pay up for Cooper Kupp, who's guaranteed to get the usage, rather than Jonathan Taylor, who
His
might get the
floor is like
usage.
10 points.
I mean, his projected floor this week is 9.1 points.
Yeah, you can't do that. Like not at that
Not at
price
9.5.
tag. No.
So the guy I really like in the high eights or in 8 and above. I mean, we've talked about it. I really am going to be playing enough Austin Eckler, and I don't care if Herbert plays or not. He's a guy where if Herbert doesn't play, then he might be an even better play. But Herbert with his hurt ribs, right? He's a guy that will run to pick up a few yards. He's not going to be doing that this week. He's a very, very, very smart individual. He will dump it off to Austin Eckler. This could be one of those weeks where Eckler has like 10 to 11 catches and maybe only has like 44 yards from that. But I think it's going to be an absolute monster smash spike week for Eckler against the Jacksonville Jaguars, who have shown some signs of life for the first time in years.
They look good, dude.
Shocking. They have an actual head coach in Doug Peterson. Amazing. What an idea, right? Who's making Trent Baalke look pretty good right now. But, you know, I think Austin Eckler is somebody I have a massive amount of interest in, and he's just not getting the sort of ownership that he should be.
I will tell you, if I see Eckler's ownership spiking, I'm immediately going to Herbert and cast, right? Because everyone thinks Herbert's all fucked up. Dude, a video came out of him today in practice. He's fine. He's throwing fine. It's a rib cartilage injury. It's on his left side. It's his finishing side. They're going to shoot him up regardless. Herbert's going to be fine. And if I see Herbert's ownership dipping and Eckler's going up, I'm definitely playing some Herbert with some Keenan Allen and cast.
I hope Keenan plays. I think the other argument for Eckler is like you have to imagine if they let him ride here, like they're gonna let him have an outlet to get that ball out as quickly as possible, so he doesn't. I don't think
the head coach is that smart.
No, I think
he might be the dumbest head coach in the NFL.
Well, so
but you saw at the end of the game, Herbert was just dumping.
That's like, exactly cool. It, Vinnie.
Well, he was fucked up.
Yeah.
No, I know, but like if he gets popped a few times, like. Or he's not dumb. Like he's gonna get that ball out, trying to avoid hits this game. You know.
Yeah, I mean the one thing that Jacksonville really does have is they have a pretty good pass rush. So I was watching film today.
Sure.
I mean their pass rush is pretty
their top
legit.
pick was the top pass rusher out of Georgia, and then they've got what's his name out of Kentucky? Josh Allen. Like they're no joke, man.
The defensive Josh Allen.
Here's why I'm not as high on Eckler. I just think for me, I like the matchup with Dalvin Cook better. I know, like, I can't believe I'm saying this. Like, I really kind of respect Jacksonville's defense here, like, especially in the front seven. Like, they're not a pushover.
So my whole thing with Cook is that as long the offense there, the more and more I take a look at it, is so spread out.
It is
that their offensive weapons near the goal line are so good that they're less apt to try and run the ball in. We got our guy, Big Irv, who, spoiler alert, absolute smash hammer play for me this week at 3,100. I don't care if he dropped the touchdown. He's fucking.
I like it more that he did that.
Too cheap. I can see the argument for Dalvin. His ownership is starting to creep up.
It is. I like it if it is a major pivot off that Jefferson Cousins chalk, which it's going to be, but not like as big as I was kind of hoping. But like,
so how I'm approaching it is like I'm gonna play a couple of, just like I did last week with that the Baltimore and Miami game. I'm gonna play a couple of game stacks going either way, and that's how I'm gonna get my exposure to those guys, because it'll help mitigate ownership, because not a lot of people do that. It's not like I don't like the Dalvin play. Again, we're playing him while he's healthy.
For sure.
There's again trade rumors that they're really trying to trade Madison, and
I know.
I mean, fuck, the Niners should probably trade for him, but who knows? As soon as he puts on a Niners jersey, he'll probably get hurt again, because he's a running back and plays for the 49ers. That's beside the point. No one wants to hear my bitch about the 49ers, but yeah, I think that's pretty good. I mean, I have a question for you guys. Here's a guy that I can't quite figure out. Aaron Jones. He's going up against a really good defense. his usage is seemingly not going to drop off any. Like, why is it? I mean, he might be the lowest owned of anybody over 7,000 this week.
I know you're going to hate this answer. I'm playing both him and Dylan. Dylan had 18 carries last week. They're both getting like fringe, like bottom RB1 touches here. And in today's NFL, they're both RB1s in terms of rushing opportunities. Like,
okay, so you like Jones. My question was more of like, would you rather play? So to your Dalvin point, I would rather play Aaron Jones over Dalvin Cook if we're talking about guys in the high sevens.
That's fair, and I'm with you. I have more Aaron Jones than I do Dalvin Cook. I'm just saying, if we're starting at the top, that's what I like up there.
Okay.
I'm telling myself a little story about that Packers and Buccaneers game.
Tell me a story.
And Aaron Rodgers and that offense in Green Bay is one of the better regular season offenses in recent history.
They are.
Right? I see the story being this, where Green Bay actually wins this game. Right, a 27-21 or 27-24.
I don't think that's crazy.
Like that. And then like these teams see each other in the playoffs, and Tom Brady just absolutely stomps Aaron Rodgers. But Aaron Jones, the way he looked last week was just electric. I know it was against the Bears. I know. But everyone's scared of this Tampa Bay defense, and yes, they're good. But again, they faced who? Jameis, and who's the other quarterback they faced? Right, they haven't faced an Aaron Rodgers. I know they don't have any receivers, and everyone's like, this game, the total is at 42, and the public is on the under.
Yeah, that's a smash over for me.
That's the under on an Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady game, no matter what the point total is.
Yeah.
This game could sneaky get big.
I do think, like, we've seen it already this year. I think one interesting thing is, like, this game's decimated on both sides, right, with weapons. Like, Julio might not play. Evans is out. Freaking
Evans is out for sure.
Watkins is out. Like, we're just dude. Well, we may see a lot of like two running back situations with Dylan and Jones at the same time.
That's my thing is that like Miami's front seven very, very good. Tampa's front seven very, very good. In most weeks, I'm with you. I like the two guys, but this week, I'm probably not going to take that approach, but I really like Aaron Jones, especially since he's going so low owned.
I do too. Yeah,
I mean, it's just
because he may catch 8 balls.
Exactly,
like right there, you're fine.
They're going to have to use him now. I do like some other ancillary pieces on the Packers this week because Sammy Watkins is out. It's going to consolidate some things down, I think.
Yeah.
And you're going against a very good coaching staff in Tampa Bay who's going to lock down guys like Lazard and make some of these younger guys beat them, right? But Aaron Jones is so dynamic of a player, they can move him around and just really kind of get him the ball at will. So that was really my question up there.
Let me rattle off some names and let me know if you guys have any major interest. Joe Mixon, I'm guessing we each have a taste. No from Jim.
Full fade.
I'm hearing too much Joe Mixon of everything I'm reading and everything I'm listening to the point where I'm like, no, it's going to flip to Burrow and Chase this week.
All right,
I'm gonna Swift. He's my guy, Mixon, where I'm taking a stance of full fade.
Swift.
I have some interest, but his price is now up to the point where I think you're in a better spot to play.
I think you need to go bell cow if you're getting up there. Yeah. I'm with you.
I think Detroit's playing from behind this week.
Yep.
Highest owned guy on the slate, playoff Lenny.
Yeah,
playing him. I think you have to. I think it's good chalk. I do. I Tampa's so wrecked with guys.
I don't know. Dude. I think so. The optimals and the computers loved Lenny last week. Okay. Yeah. They love him again this week.
Well, dude,
because there's nobody else.
Okay. He's got 45 carries in 2 games.
What year
is this dude in? He cannot keep this up he might be like 28, but dude, at running back years, you might as well be retired.
They have nobody else.
Nobody else. No, everyone's talking about this Rashad White dude about to vulture everything.
No. Everyone's out. Godwin's out. Evans is out. Like, everyone's out. Like, it's Fournette's show to carry the torch for
3 touchdowns to Cole Beasley this week. Watch.
That's my guy.
but
Allen.
I don't even know if he's going to play. But
Cole
okay.
Beasley and Scotty Miller are about to be X and Z for Tom
Okay,
Brady.
so like out of 1 through 5, like what do you guys rate playoff landing? Because I'm playing them. I think it's good chalk. I think you just have to eat it and get weird elsewhere because there's nobody else. So
see, I really like Antonio Gibson this week, right there with him.
ooh.
Not to save money or anything, but the fact that I think this Washington Philly game is going to get really fucking sloppy. It's going to be high scoring. It's going to be sloppy. It's going to be weird. Gibson, until the man that got shot comes back, Gibson's their goal line guy. Right?
Yeah,
Wentz is throwing touchdowns, but that's not going to keep up either. I think Gibson's going to snake a lot of touchdowns very soon.
Gibson's a fade for me this week.
Another guy that I have below that I have quite a bit of. It's making me a little bit nervous, but I'm all team Jacksonville right now. And James Robinson, I actually have both interest in both of these running backs for Jacksonville.
Well, if Herbert plays, I want ETN.
Okay, so let me just start here. Like, first off, James Robinson's absolutely the main running back. Like, there's no doubt about it. His target share and everything. He's been really good. But I'm with you, Jim. I do have shares of ETN because if this thing gets out of hand, game script wise, he's the receiving back.
Yep.
ETN will be in there, and he is a playmaker. So I have both ETN and James Robinson in some of my player pool here.
Fair enough.
So trying to fly through here and go down. We're already at 40.
Like highest owned player on the slate right now is looking like David Montgomery at 5,900.
Good God.
Fade.
If he goes over, he's going to go over 20, huh?
Right now, so basically on Run the Sims, if it's like 18% in 3 max, in 3 max and single entry, you can almost guarantee that he's going to be up around 22%.
Honestly, man, I may fade him. I may fade him and go Dylan or Robinson or just drop down. Which
I mean, if we're going down here into the 5s, obviously we already talked about Cordero. We don't really need to talk about that anymore. But I really like Devin Singletary at 5,600. That's too cheap for a guy who's going to be on the field quite a bit for Buffalo. And talk about bell cow. He's the guy who's getting all of the work.
Dude, I want to. He's just burned me 2 weeks straight now, and it just starts to sting after a while.
But you're going to play ETN?
You have to do it, Vinny.
You got to do it.
The most.
If you're going to play ETN at 5,400, who's going to get 30% less snaps than Singletary?
Yeah. I know. I hear you. I just think Josh Allen.
That player hurts you the most. That's when you have to dive in even further.
I get it. I mean, if I'm going down here, honestly, and this is why he's going to be my highest. Like, I don't know how you get away from Miles Sanders here in this spot.
Yeah, I think
5,500. He may be one of the best plays on the slate. In my opinion.
He's 6% owned. I don't get it. And then you have Josh Jacobs, who's the easiest fade of the year at 18 to 22% owned.
Dude, no, Josh Jacobs, I think is like about to get traded. Like, they're not running the ball. He's got 2 illnesses where he missed practice and he might not be traveling with the team.
No, Joe, he had 15 carries. He was just
terrible. I know, but he's been like sick all week this week.
No,
Vinny.
I know. They have the least amount of rushing attempts in the entire NFL right now.
I know, man. It's bad. It's really bad. I'm not going there.
Speaking of what you were at, Vinny, of someone that burned you and you need to go back to the well. And the popular consent right now is everyone's migrating to Raheem Mostert with Miami because he got more carries than Chase Edmonds last week. Chase Edmonds absolutely fucked me last week. Now,
me too.
I really think Buffalo takes it to Miami this week, and literally 42 to 10 type shit.
It's my ETN theory. Yeah,
they're behind. Chase Edmonds is going to get play, and Raheem Mostert is not.
I agree. I agree with the game theory, no doubt about it. Just like you were correct last week with Nyheim Hines, and then even with no receivers, the Colts decided not to use.
Dude, Nyheim Hines got 3 catches in the first 5 plays of the game, and then he never saw him again.
And then he just disappeared after that. It was so weird.
Real quick, the only other guy I have interest in down here is Michael Carter for the same reason. I'm hoping Cincinnati just blows the doors off this thing and they have to throw. That's it for me. I'm not going really below that.
Yeah,
I like Damian Pierce.
I guess
like
you can play Pierce. Yeah, if he hangs around 10%, he's fine. But if he creeps
I just
up
think
to 15, 20, I'm definitely out on that.
No. I think everyone was so high on him in the early season. I know everyone's like, yeah, whatever. Fuck Damian Pierce, dude. Public's on Chicago to win. Yeah, and the public's on Chicago to win this week, dude. Houston's without a doubt winning this game. They're going to stay ahead, and Damian Pierce might give us a 20-point game.
I don't know how you win football games without an offense, but all right, we're at 45. We gotta fly through receivers.
We gotta fly. Let's go to receivers.
I mean, we don't really have everyone up top is good. Jefferson, Kupp, Devontae, Diggs, Tyreek,
Lamar,
God, Waddle. Like they're all awesome plays. Like we don't have to talk about that. So let's go sub 6 here. So let's start there.
So I mean, so if we're talking about right at 6,000, I think Marquise Brown is a good play this week. They're going to have to huck and chuck it around. He's probably going to get a lot of Ramsey, who's going to try and guess a whole lot. He's one of those guys who he hasn't had that spike week yet. You know, week 3, there's still obviously time, right? But he's a guy that I admittedly don't really like playing, that I'm going to play this week just because – for one, Arizona needs to keep winning. It's a division game. They pulled that one out against the Raiders last week, and I think that he's due for a pretty big game. I like his upside, and I also like his floor. I think his floor is probably 12 points at 6,000.
I don't know why you're going to talk about him as receiver 2 on that team, but we'll get to that.
I don't know. You got to mention the Raiders at all. Brandon Cooks. Burned a lot of people last week. Again, I do think Houston wins this game by like a heavy margin.
He's getting a little chalky down here.
Yes, so that's my concern.
Yeah, if he's getting, I mean, chalky. Honestly, if I believe in him though, if I really believe in this, if he's chalky, I really don't give a shit because the rest of my lineups are usually not very chalky.
Okay, but here's my point. A guy that I like better than that at the same exact price is going to be half the ownership. Can I get you interested in some Drake London? Like you already talked about Atlanta, just play Drake London. Like
no,
I just
because
think
back on Pitts.
Yeah, I'm
Why not play
off.
Both?
I'm off London this week. I'm more on Tyler Lockett.
But you're gonna get 70% of all Mariota's throws are going to one of those two guys.
Look, Pete Carroll, like they have the ability to bracket and take away London. I think that they're going to do that. And it's going to have to be the Kyle Pitts show this week.
It's Pitts and Patterson with Mariota. That's the combo. I'm not budging.
I'm with you on that one, Joe.
All right.
Drake London.
What about low 5s, high 4s? Who's your favorite in there?
I think that, if you're not going to play, you can't really play him in a stack, obviously. But if you're not going to play Derrick Henry, I think Treylon Burks is an interesting play. He's a pretty dynamic receiver.
Good, dude. He was great in college.
He's great in college.
Training camp.
He didn't play a whole lot in training camp, right? Because he was dealing with the like whatever he had, the vertigo or some sort of asthma.
Him. They were like, "Oh, he looks like a bad route runner." It's like,
nah, he's fine. And at 4,900, I mean, he is their de facto number 1 wide receiver in that offense. So if you tell yourself the story that Vegas is going to try and stack and take away the run, he's going to have to get opportunities. He's a guy that I'm willing to take a chance at down here. When everyone down here is likely going to go to Russell Gage at 4,700, I'll take the true number 1 on a team in Treylon Burks. Everyone thinks it's Robert Woods. Robert Woods is fucking dust. Yeah. He's getting some targets.
Had multiple major injuries.
I love Bob Woods, but yeah, man.
He's been – I think people
Bobby
forget
Forrest.
that, like, this is like his, like, 9th or 10th year in the league, dude.
Bob Forrest has had better days.
He's been around.
I'm pretty sure he played at USC with Reggie Bush, dude.
He did. All right, not with Reggie Bush.
Joe, all right, I got a few guys in this range.
Yeah, no. So Jahan Dotson, right?
Yeah.
I think with Washington, his ownership is way too low. I think people are starting to get that mindset. Oh, he's got 3 touchdowns. He's got to fade. I think Jahan Dotson is, by the time the season's over, he's just that same kind of story. I'm not saying to the level of Jefferson or Chase, but by the end of the year, you're going to go, dude, This guy has 12 catches.
They
Or
got
12 touchdown catches.
They got to steal. He was an absolute dynamite player at Penn State. He's a very good football player. Like
he obviously is a red zone target and knows how to move around by the goal line with 3 touchdowns in 2 games. He's got 7 catches and 3 touchdowns. This kid knows how to play football. He knows how to get himself open in the end zone. There's nothing more valuable than that.
Yeah,
I like it.
I got I to the other side of that. I like Curtis Samuel. I like Garrett Wilson, and I like Mecole Hardman as a potential one-off banger for this Chiefs. You know,
is he hard man?
I mean, he's the guy who takes the top off, right? We saw Christian Watson do it last week. Like, all it takes is one play with Mahomes, and that price tag might be paid off. Like,
yeah,
the Colts suck, dude. Like, they're the most overrated team in the NFL.
For whatever reason, I don't know why. I don't really have any like hard facts to put behind. I have a feeling it's going to be an MVS week.
It could be, dude. Yeah, there's no way to tell. Both of them are going to be like 4% owned. Like, take your pick. Go for it. I think Chris Olave is very interesting. I liked him last week.
Yep, I like him this week.
I mean, Jameis does have broken bones in his back.
I'm hearing so much Olave because of his. If you look at the advanced stats of his downfield target,
don't worry about that. Like, he's better than Jarvis
Jameis just hucked it up like out of bounds, and those count for downfield target.
I mean, at 4,500, he is garnering right now projected 10 to 13% ownership, which
I see. That's weird. I see like 5% here. So. We'll see where
Jameis is. Fucking Jameis is shit right now.
I don't think. Honestly, at this point, I don't care what ownership is. I'm gonna light the Dortch for the Cardinals. He's my highest owned receiver. He's just too easy and too cheap at 4,300. Like, give me 8 to 10 targets at 4,300. I'll just play it every lineup. Like, whatever.
Keep in mind when Rondale Moore comes back, he is going to be a smash play. Because no one is going to play him. Just
I get
take a little note.
All right, sneaky play. One of the sneaky plays here I have. Jim scoffed at me on the text messages earlier today. Romeo Dubes. I don't know if that's how you say his name.
It's Dobbs, but
I think he has a pretty interesting day on Sunday.
So
I think we could see.
So I've come around. He's too cheap.
Way too cheap, dude. Speaking of barrel of bones running out there, like Sammy Watkins is off the field. Like, let's
too cheap. He's the guy that I alluded to earlier. That like, look, I know that Lazard's healthy now that Watkins is officially ruled out. You've got a very smart coaching staff. They're gonna make either him or Watson beat them this week.
Absolutely.
And I think that Dobbs is the guy that I would rather have.
I think it's also week 3, man. Rodgers is starting to hopefully earn a little bit of trust. Like, these other guys suck. Like, it's going to be Dobbs.
Well, honestly, dude, Rodgers just needs to fucking stop popping so much ayahuasca and start realizing that, like,
I think he needs more.
He might need more.
Maybe that, whatever it might be. But, like, dude, like, these are the guys that you have to work with. If you think
I don't know
that fucking I think Rodgers is a smart guy. And I'm hoping that after watching the film from weeks 1 and 2, he sees that, well, obviously Sammy Watkins is not going to be even on the field.
Yeah.
But Sammy Watkins and Randall Cobb are not the answer. Like, Lazard's going to be healthy. I think that actually helps out Dobbs because Tampa Bay is going to try and take him away, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I also think there's another sneaky guy when we get to tight end that we can talk about, but that'll be a little bit later. Joe, do you
anyone in the threes? Joe, are you going back to Alec Pierce?
No. I mean, the fact that he got half the snaps in week 1 and dropped 2 touchdowns and then didn't play week 2, it's unreliable for GPP.
He's yet to catch a pass in the NFL. So
I can't take that risk. If he beats me, fuck it, it's whatever. And I can tell everyone I told you so 2 weeks ago.
So the guy seem to have someone.
Yeah, I mean, he was before. When Hunter Renfrow was still healthy, fucking Mac Hollins is getting targeted like you wouldn't believe. And it's going to be the same.
I don't even want to be a Raider fan anymore.
Well, look, Joey. Here's where we are. Here's where we're at, right? I mean,
Hollins.
Do you want to be a Niners fan? I mean, we just signed Marlon Mack and some other dust pile. Okay,
I have the NFL hat for a reason.
Okay, so
Just on a- whatever.
so
I
Matt
like the
Collins, I don't know why they didn't change his price, but they're pricing him like he's not playing and not getting any targets. He played 83% of the snaps and had 8 targets last week. That's with Hunter Renfrow healthy. Now that Hunter Renfrow is out, they're going to try and take away Devontae Adams and see if Waller and Mac Hollins and company can beat them, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So at 3,300, I don't need. I mean, I think the projections have it all wrong. They have his floor at 1.5 points. Like, I'm gonna go hunting for. I'm gonna go hunting for props on Mac Hollins and take all the overs.
I'm gonna tell you right now that I think Josh McDaniels throughout his career might be the worst wide receiver evaluator in the NFL. If you look at Patriots wide receivers since he's been the coordinator outside of Randy Moss, like literally name one, name a good one. And then he's got Devontae Adams, which was not his choice. That was Derek Carr's choice, and he doesn't even know how to get him the ball.
It'll be okay, man.
I'm telling you right now, Mac Hollins was a special teams specialist for Miami. Raiders picked him up, and now he's starting all of a sudden. This guy is not good. And I think you're on a fool's errand, Jim. I'm telling you right now, just don't fucking do it. Just run. Run away.
But so if he was 4,300, Joey, I'd listen to you. He's $300 above the dead min for wide receiver. Like at 1%, and if he was getting any percentage of ownership, I would. But at 1% or less, and at 3,300, sorry, like I'm just gonna take it because I want to jam in some of these other guys. If he gets 4 catches for 25 yards, that's fine.
No.
That's all I need.
I'm with you.
No.
Tight ends. What do we like? Obviously, we all like Big Irv. He's the obvious play.
Big Irv is the consensus red zone DFS.
I like Pitts a lot too. He's my third highest owned tight end.
I love Goddard this week. Love Dallas Goddard against Washington.
Yeah. I will tell you my second highest owned tight end outside of Irv is Tyler Higbee.
Well,
I think something's wrong with Stafford, dude.
You and everybody else.
Everyone's owning him.
He's seeing like 10 targets a game.
He's going to be like 15% owned.
Who cares? 10 targets, dude. He's seeing more targets than freaking Devontae
I'm getting less
Adams.
and less scared. I'm getting less and less scared with ownership when the rest of my lineup is pretty
correct.
Under 10%.
Plus,
so when I get that one guy at 15, I can give a shit. I don't care.
Plus, there's other tight ends I think that have a higher ceiling, and if we're talking about GPPs,
that's fair. I mean,
because once they get into the red zone, if they're throwing the ball, it is literally nobody but Kupp 90% of the time.
I think that's fair. I mean, if you have to find a way to make comp work, in my opinion, for Kelsey. The guy's coming at like 7% owned.
Yeah, I don't understand. He's cheaper. He's cheaper than most of the top tier wide receivers, and he's Kansas City's #1 wide receiver against a terrible fucking Colts team.
I mean, yes.
Absolutely. So outside of him,
go low. I mean, where are we going low here?
No, I'm playing more Mark Andrews again.
Oh, all right.
So New England's fucking terrible.
Yeah, they're really bad.
They are terrible,
and they are going to do everything they can to like try to win this and like stop Lamar from running. So Andrews should have a massive day here.
I'm going right back to that same Lamar, Bateman, Andrews stack. Just move on.
I like it. Don't even bring him back.
I'm going back to Logan Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
Logan Thomas has got some interest.
That's a good one.
Sure.
He was on my list.
I think to get away from all the chalk in that Lions Washington game, I do like a little TJ Hawkinson. He's yet to get in the end zone. Seeing 6-8 targets a game, like
he's going to be chalky too, though.
Is he?
Yep, I'm seeing 11 to 16% owned.
Never mind.
So the guy outside of, Irv is going to be really hard to get away from.
I know
he's only fucking 3,100, but
Kyle Granson.
Robert Tonyan. They're going to get down into the red zone. I'm with you. They're going to get down into the red zone. If the game goes like Joey and I think it's going to go, Then Robert Tonyan, you can then play the stack that I like with Atlanta, and you can play Rodgers, Jones, and Tonyan, and you can run it back with Gage and Lenny, and you can eat the chalk with those two because no one's going to play that stack.
Yeah.
Nobody.
I just love hearing the name Lenny.
Sides. I think we got to come up with a new name for him, like Side Street Lenny or Bourbon Street Lenny. I mean, he's from New Orleans, right?
Ooh, Bourbon Street Lenny's not bad.
I mean, he's from New Orleans, is he not?
Yeah. It's Louisiana. I know he's from down there.
Well, it's kind of like my name, Joe. You can just throw anything in front of it and it works,
Vinny, are we really going to split hairs here? Louisiana, we'll just, New Orleans.
Yeah, like Back Alley Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. You just put anything in front of Joe and it fucking works.
Backdoor Joe.
Just red zone DFS Joe. Like, it fucking works.
Oh, my God.
Backdoor Joe, backdoor bandit.
I'm a backdoor
All right,
man.
Do we need to get into defenses? I mean,
yeah. No, because I'm going heavy Falcons. Heavy
I
Falcons
do like the Falcons a lot.
There's no real like dirt cheap pay down options this week unless you want to get really spicy.
It's the Falcons and the Panthers, in my opinion, are the two teams. Panthers are garnering the most ownership, but if it stays under that 15% range, I don't mind. But I'm going to be splitting Falcons-Panthers.
What about the Cardinals? If we think Matt Stafford is like not right,
I would not shy away from it if that's like an option. Like, I'll play it. I don't care. I
think it's interesting.
I mean, they're really bad, but I'm going to give you another one that I think.
I just don't think Matt Stafford blows up. That's my only thing.
I think this may make Joey really happy, but also like rip his heart out at the same time. I'm going to play a little Titans defense. I think Vrabel is cracking skulls right now in Nashville after that embarrassment on Monday night. Like, you're going to get it together a little bit. If you stop Devontae Adams, you win this game.
Well, if you're going to play
any Raiders players this week, that's all I'm saying.
If you're going to play, Derrick,
and Derek Carr could have a meltdown on the road,
If you're going to play Derrick Henry, you have to play the corresponding defense with him. You just have to do it.
I agree.
It makes no sense not to.
I think I'm playing some Jaguars. I mean, with a banged up Herbert, I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. I know he's practicing, but dude, the guy takes one shot and we have a Chase Daniel game on our hands. I'm playing some Jags.
I'm less interested.
I'm Team Jags, dude. I'm all in. Let's go.
You're all in.
I'm going to the Super Bowl and watching the Niners play the Jags.
Okay.
Let's go.
That's a bold prediction.
Well, Jimmy G's definitely taking you guys to the Super Bowl. So
let's just not talk about that.
The show's definitely winding down.
Let's just not talk about
all
that.
All right. So predictions.
I'm playing Atlanta. I'm playing Arizona. Or if I'm going to go pay all the way up, I'm going to play fucking the Ravens at 3,000.
Oh, I am going to play a little. I have two lineups right now set with the Lions because if we see a Kirk Cousins meltdown in Avalanche, we've seen what that can look like.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to see that again.
But it's ultimate. If that game gets sloppy, man, it's ultimate leverage on the whole slate.
It is, but they could
Cousins,
also get you negative points.
I get it, but if Aiden Hutchinson has 3 sacks and they get 1 pick of Cousins, you're still coming out maybe 2-3
They could
points.
give up 40 points.
Okay, but so you're talking -3 at the worst?
Yeah, that's
I'm just saying, if you have to play it.
If there's one thing I've learned over the time we've been doing this, if your defense goes 2 points or less, you might make the money, but you're not getting up there.
If they go negative,
there's no guarantee. If we've seen anything, there's no guarantee of defense here. At all. I don't care what you say. You know what I mean?
Against Geno Smith, Geno D.O.Y.
Okay, it might be the best guarantee for sure.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know why it's not going more highly on.
Bold predictions.
Vinny, you go first.
Woo-hoo! I think we see a touchdown out of Mr. Romeo, and we see Joe Burrow go for 404 on Sunday.
Wait, are those 2 bold predictions?
I'm giving you 2.
2 bold predictions, Joe.
I'm trying to maximize my odds of hitting on 1.
That's kind of hot.
It's fucked up. Joey?
Clip that.
Yeah, Derrick Henry is going 40 plus DK points.
Damn, that is super bold. That might be the boldest thing I've heard.
Yeah, Derrick Henry's about to be like, oh yeah, I'm here, by the way.
I don't know how bold the first one is. I'm going to say that Christian McCaffrey is the highest scoring player on the slate this week.
Oh my God.
And and my second one is that Gabe Davis is going for 20 plus.
Do you think Gabe Davis outscores Stephon Diggs?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah,
let's go.
I can see that too.
Yes.
Here's my second bold prediction. Cole Beasley scores a touchdown this week.
Well, the shitty part, Joey, is we can't even fucking play him.
I know, but he's
Not
still
Is
scoring.
he not on? Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if you see DraftKings add him though tonight or tomorrow. Watch it. They will add him.
I hope so because I would like
Better.
to play him for one, but
They fucking better.
All right, boys. That's it. Bold calls. Nailed it. Manscaped.com.
Zone 20.
off.
Zone 20, guys. We really do appreciate all the support. We're gonna post another little teaser on Twitter tomorrow. Don't feel compelled to go there and buy anything. If at minimum you guys could just retweet the link, that's awesome. If you guys want to, Christmas is coming up. Boyfriends, brothers,
Hanukkah,
dads. I mean, my dad is
Kwanzaa.
the hairiest goddamn person on the face of the earth. I don't think he's ever owned a trimmer. I'm going to buy one for him and say, hey, Neanderthal, here you go, motherfucker. Like, you know, it's time to stop buying Bics for $2 at the Dollar General, you know, because that's what my dad does. You know, he's a Navy guy, right? So it's a great gift. It really helps us out, and we really, truly do appreciate it. 20% off, free shipping anywhere in the world, Zone 20.
And if your dad sneezes and looks like a party favor, you need Manscaped.
And please subscribe to the channel. Give us a thumbs up if it's YouTube. Give us a 5-star review on Apple, Spotify, whatever. Till next time, Joe, Jim, Vin. That's it. Good luck.